The mind is an incredible tool, but it was never meant to be your master. It's like a room you can enter, observe, use for certain functions, but it is not your true dwelling. Many live as if they are tenants of their thoughts, constantly rearranging mental furniture, repainting memories, adjusting beliefs to match moods, and yet never finding true rest. The mind is not your home. It is more like a mirror that reflects whatever passes by, but a mirror is not what it reflects. You are not the reflection. You are the seer of it. There is a habit, very ancient, of identifying with the mind. A thought arises, and instead of letting it come and go, you embrace it as your own. I am sad. I am unworthy. I will never succeed. But these are not statements of truth. They are mind states. They are weather passing through the sky of your being. If a storm appears in the sky, do you say the sky is ruined? No, the sky remains untouched, infinite, and clear behind the clouds. You are like this spacious, open awareness itself. The thoughts that appear are not your property. They are just movements, echoes, fragments of the conditioned mind. Yet we mistake this temporary flow for who we are. We decorate the mind with labels, stories, roles, regrets, and expectations. We build altars of identity and light candles of false belief, hoping the mind will one day feel like home. But it never does, because it is always changing. One day you feel confident. The next day you feel lost. One day you are peaceful, and the next disturbed. If you are living in the mind, your identity becomes as unstable as the thoughts themselves. There is no foundation there, only driftwood. This is why the wise ones do not dwell in the mind. They use it when needed, just as you might use a car to travel, but you don't live inside the car. When the journey is over, you get out. Likewise, when thought has served its purpose, it can be left alone. The trouble comes when you try to make a home in the movement. That's like trying to build a house on a river. No wonder we suffer. We are looking for permanence in impermanence. You are not the river. You are the silent presence watching the river flow. There is a subtle but powerful truth. Every time a thought arises in the mind, you are being offered a choice. The thought itself is not the problem. It may be pleasant or painful, relevant or random. What matters is whether you choose to log in. A thought becomes suffering not because of its content, but because of your identification with it. You log in when you believe the thought is speaking to you about you for you. You log in when you forget that the thought is merely passing through, not coming from your essence. The mind functions like a platform, a vast system with endless data. Stories, fears, memories, desires, comparison. Every thought is like a login screen asking you to enter your credentials, your attention, and your belief. Once you provide them, you are inside. And once inside, you start to feel as though the experience is real. You live inside the storyline. If it's a fearful thought, you feel anxious. If it's a thought of regret, you feel guilt. If it's a desire, you feel restless. The content pulls you into a virtual reality of emotion and illusion, but you are never obligated to log in. The sacred space of awareness remains untouched, even as thoughts come and go. Just as clouds pass through the sky without leaving a trace, thoughts arise and fade in the presence of your being. But once you click into the thought, once you log in, it's as though the clouds become your world. You forget the sky and believe you are the storm. You give energy to something that had no power without your consent. A thought without your attention has no life, like a fire without oxygen. There is great freedom in seeing this. You begin to recognize the moments when the login screen appears. It could be during an argument, or while sitting in silence, or when you remember something from years ago. A familiar narrative begins to unfold in the mind, and you are tempted to click enter, but you can also choose not to. You can remain the witness. You can let the thought float by without giving it your name, without feeding it your belief. The invitation is always there, but the choice to accept it belongs to you. You don't have to argue with the thought. You don't have to push it away. Just don't log in. Let it pass like a breeze against your face, unheld and unclaimed. There is a space within you that does not move, does not age, and does not speak in words. It does not chase thoughts, nor does it resist them. It simply sees. This space is the silent witness of all that appears in the mind and the body. When thoughts come, pleasant or painful, the witness is unaffected. When emotions rise and fall, the witness does not rise or fall with them. It remains still. To witness without identity is to rest in that stillness. To simply be aware, without grasping or pushing, without attaching any personal story to what arises. Most people witness through the filter of identity. When anger comes, they say, "I am angry." When sadness comes, "I am sad." But this is not witnessing, it is merging. It is forgetting the witness and becoming the content. You were never the anger. You are the one in whose presence anger appeared. The moment you claim the experience as mine, you have logged into the identity, and the pure witnessing is lost. But if you remain as the seer, not the seen, a deep peace begins to emerge, because the seer is not touched by what is seen. The mind throws many things onto the screen of awareness: old stories, images, judgments, roles, memories. But you are not the screen, and you are not the movie. You are the one who sees the screen. This realization is not a mental trick. It is the recognition of what is already so. When you witness without identity, even the most disturbing thought loses its power. It is seen as a ripple on the surface, not as a wave crashing inside your being. You don't need to fix the thought or replace it with a better one. You simply remain as the sky and let the weather pass. To witness without identity does not mean detachment in a cold way. It is not rejection. It is love that is so spacious it does not interfere. It allows everything to be as it is, without possession. There is a quiet intelligence in this. A tree does not follow its leaves as they fall to the ground. It stands where it is, rooted in being. In the same way, you remain rooted in the now, watching thoughts fall like leaves, beautiful, momentary, and not who you are. The mind may come to tempt you with questions, accusations, or desires, but the witness has no business with them. The witness only sees, and in that seeing, it is free. Emotions often rise not as pure expressions of the present, but as echoes of a thought that passed through. The thought may be long gone, yet it leaves behind a fragrance sometimes sweet, sometimes sour. This is the emotional echo. A memory appears in the mind, something unresolved, something painful, something beautiful that no longer exists. And from that memory, a wave begins to form, an ache in the chest, a tightening in the belly, a sense of lack or longing. Without noticing, you are no longer simply here. You are swimming inside an emotional current that was started by a single passing thought. This is the trap, and it is a subtle one. The emotion feels personal. It feels real. It wraps around the body and claims to be part of who you are. But all of this started because you logged into the mind's storyline. You didn't just see the memory, you identified with it. You gave it your name, you gave it life, and once the emotion takes form, it feeds the mind again, creating more thoughts, which in turn generate more emotion. This is the loop of suffering, a cycle of thought and feeling feeding each other like mirrors in a hall of illusion. When you are unaware, the emotional echo becomes your atmosphere. You carry it into your relationships, your choices, your silence. You don't see the world as it is, you see it through the fog of a mood. But the mood is not the truth. It is a state, not your state. A passing cloud, not the sky. This is why it is essential to meet emotions without merging into them. When sadness rises, you can observe it. When anger tightens in the chest, you can notice it. When fear comes, you can sit with it like a guest, not give it the keys to your house. Don't build temples to emotion. Don't create shrines to pain. They are visitors. They come. They go. You are not the host who must entertain them endlessly. You are the space in which all of this appears. The key is not to suppress emotion, but not to become its servant. You do not need to explain or justify what you feel. Just be still, feel it fully without story, without judgment. Let the emotion burn itself out in the fire of your awareness. When you stop feeding it with thoughts, it cannot survive for long. The echo fades, the storm passes, and you remain silent, clear, untouched. Stillness is not something to achieve. It is your natural condition before the mind begins to stir. It is not something you create by effort, but something you uncover by not participating in the noise. The moment you choose not to log in, a space reveals itself, spacious, effortless, silent. This stillness is not a dull state. It is alive, vibrant, and deeply intelligent. It is the unshakable peace beneath all appearances. To stay logged out is not withdrawal from life, but a re-entry into life without distortion. The mind will continue to offer its logins. Thoughts about the past will appear, baiting you with guilt or nostalgia. Thoughts about the future will tempt you with anxiety or hope. It will speak in the voice of urgency or sometimes in the soft whisper of memory. But you must learn to recognize this. None of it is you. You are not required to engage with any of it. To stay logged out is to let the movement happen without inserting yourself into the frame. You see the invitation but decline it. You feel the pull but do not follow. You allow everything to arise, yet you hold on to nothing. This does not mean becoming passive or indifferent. In fact, when you stay logged out of the mental narratives, your actions become clearer, more direct, more rooted in the real. You do not act from panic, defense, or craving. You act from presence. Stillness is not the absence of movement, but the absence of unnecessary noise. When the noise subsides, clarity appears like the sun emerging from behind clouds. You see things as they are, not as the mind imagines them to be. Being still is the ultimate refusal to participate in the mind's performance. You don't have to fix the thoughts. You don't have to change the feelings. You don't have to understand the story. You only need to stay where you are, unmoved. Be like a mountain. Let the winds of thought pass over you. Let the rains of emotion fall if they must. But remain unmoved inside. This unmoving space is your refuge, your home, your truth. It does not come and go. It is always here beneath the surface noise. When you stop logging in, you return to it, not by travel, but by not departing from it in the first place. When you recognize that it's just a mind state, and that logging in is a choice, a subtle but profound shift begins within you. The storms of thought may continue to rise, and emotional echoes may still ripple through your being, but you no longer sit at the center of that turbulence. You begin to rest as the one who sees, not the one who suffers. The invitation to participate in the drama of the mind is always present, but you don't have to accept it. You do not need to negotiate with thoughts or argue with emotions. Simply remain as the unmoved witness, untouched, aware, and silent. The more you abide in this natural stillness, the more clearly you see that nothing in the mind defines you. The past cannot possess you. The future cannot tempt you. Even the present moment, when stripped of mental commentary, is just a gentle unfolding, free of labels, free of pressure. This stillness is not something you must fight to hold. It holds you. You don't create peace. You stop interfering with what is already peaceful beneath the noise. Don't log in. The login screen will appear 1,000 times a day in different forms: worry, memory, identity, story. Let them come. Let them go. You remain. You are not the content. You are the context. This simple seeing dissolves the illusion of being trapped. You were never trapped, only entangled in thought. And even the thought of entanglement is just another mind state. Let it pass. Be still, be empty, be free.